So here it's asking us to complete, or what logically completes the text, right? You need to read it. And so you need to put the pieces of the puzzle together, right? I see the pieces fit because I watched them fall apart. Anyway, let's read this very quickly. Let's identify important pieces of information. Birds of many species ingest food containing carotenoids, pigmented molecules that are converted into feather coloration, right? So now we're talking about feather coloration. Coloration tends to be especially saturated in male bird feathers, and because carotenoids also confer health benefits, the deeply saturated colors generally serve to communicate what is known as an honest signal of a bird's overall fitness and potential mates. So the deeper the color, the more of a signal it is that this bird is healthy. Now notice the shift here. However, this is really important. You guys need to be very aware of these shifts in ideas. So however, big word here, ornithologist Allison J. Schultz and others have found that males in several species of the tanager genus, I don't know, use microstructures in their feathers to manipulate light. Okay, creating the appearance of deeper saturation without the birds necessarily having to maintain a carotenoid-rich diet. These findings suggest. So, in the first part, it discusses carotenoids and how these carotenoids indicate a healthy bird. However, some birds are able to manipulate this color without carotenoids. Well, interesting, right? Individual male tanagers, I'm just calling teenagers, can engage in honest signaling without relying on carotenoid consumption. But is it honest though? Right? Because in the beginning, we discussed honest signaling if you have carotenoids. So if you don't have carotenoids, then what does that mean? That means you're not giving honest signaling, correct? Answer B, feather microstructures may be less effective than deeply saturated feathers for signaling overall fitness. But it doesn't say that, Mrs. Reda. Here in the end, it gives the appearance of this healthiness. It gives the appearance of the deep color indicating a strong bird. So no, we don't know if it's less effective. Well, actually, we can assume it is effective. C, scientists have yet to determine why tanagers have preference for mates with colorful appearances. This is off topic. Right now, we're talking about the manipulation of color. D, the male tanager appearance may function as a dishonest signal of the individual's overall fitness. Is it dishonest? Well, we need to think. In the beginning here, if they consume carotenoids, it gives an honest signal of fitness. So if they manipulate this color without consuming carotenoids, what does that indicate? Indicates a dishonest signal of fitness. The answer is D. So we read this, correct? I won't keep reading all of these questions so we don't lose time. It's about how turtles, or how newborns or babies, they have face-to-face interaction. I didn't even know this woman's name is Versace. Hey. And so when you draw like two eyes in the mouth, it stimulates the brain somehow. This is important right here, though, this part. They use an image of three black dots arranged in the shape of eyes, nose, or mouth to test whether this trait also occurs in testudo tortoises. So this, right? So this stimulus does occur in a tortoise, which live alone and do not engage in parental care. So what did they do? They found the babies and they showed this image to the babies, suggesting that, right? And the babies, excuse me, they found that the tortoise hatchings showed a significant preference for the image. So now you have these tortoises that are alone, that do not engage in parental care. They gave birth to babies. And so when these babies are born, they also prefer the facial image. Okay, what can we assume now? What can we say about this? Face stimuli are likely perceived as harmless by newborns of social species that practice parental care, but as threatening by newborns of solitary species. But do the babies view them as threatening? Well, no, right? It's a solitary species. The turtle or tortoise is a solitary species because they live alone. Do they view them as threatening? We'll also know because they have a significant preference. So we can't say answer A. A contradicts the paragraph. Answer B. Researchers should not assume that an innate attraction to face-like stimuli. Was there an innate attraction to face-like stimuli by the babies? Yes, because they preferred the facial stimulus, the facial picture. Is necessarily an adaptation related to social interaction or parental care. Now we have to think about this. They got a tortoise, right? This tortoise is known, number one, to be alone. Number two, does not provide parental care. This tortoise gave birth to a baby. And so when they showed this face to the baby, what did the baby do? It preferred the facial stimulus, the facial expression. So I like answer B, because researchers should not assume that this attraction to the stimuli is related to social interaction and parental care, because they tried it on an animal that does not have social interaction and does not have parental care, yet it was still attracted. I like answer B. Let's check other answers. C. Researchers can assume that the attraction to face-like stimuli, okay, that is seen in social species that practice parental care is learned rather than innate. Well, again, this doesn't make sense. Why? Well, the tortoise was alone, or the species likes to be alone and does not provide parental care. And the baby was attracted to the facial expression or the face-like stimuli. So we can assume that it is not learned, instead it is innate. So answer C is incorrect. It contradicts the passage as well. D, newly attached T tortoises show a stronger preference for face-like stimuli than adult tortoises do. We don't know this. We just know about the babies. Our best answer is answer B. Put the pieces together. So now we're talking about here number 16, the digital process of books or whatever like that. I want you guys to focus. Good job, Sherry. This part right here. But those decreased costs. So let's talk about technology, how technology has affected the book business. And these decreased costs have been most significant in the manufacturing and distribution process, which occur after the authoring, editing, and design of the books are complete. So what does this suggest, right? So let's look at answer A. Digital technologies made it easier than it had been previously for authors to write very long works. What does digital technology affect, guys? It affects the manufacturing and distribution process, meaning the printing and the delivering process. It's not related to what authors can or cannot do. Therefore, answer A is off topic. Answer B, customers expected the cost of books to decline relative to the cost of consumer goods. How do we know this? Is there any comparison to consumer goods? Right? No. Again, off topic, unsupported. It brings information beyond the scope of the text. C, publishers increased the variety of their offerings by printing more unique titles, but also printed fewer copies of each title. But again, does it affect the content? What kind of books are written? No. What it affects is manufacturing and distribution. What about answer D? The costs of writing, editing, and designing a book were less affected. Well, does it say this here? Well, yeah, right? It tells us that these decreased costs are for manufacturing and distribution, which come after writing, editing, and designing. So we can assume that this technology has affected writing, editing, and designing less than manufacturing and distributing. My answer is D.